to see. And really quickly, we are getting an amazing view right now, I believe, from Orion, and that may be the Earth or the Moon in the very background. It actually looks like a crescent Earth there in the background. This view coming from one of the solar array wing cameras aboard Orion.
Integrity Houston for CCU answer.
Go ahead.
Christina, two options for when you can dump the CCU. One option is today at MET 6 hours 35 minutes, which was during a planned dump time for us, or we can find a time for you to empty the CCU tomorrow.
And help me out with that math. How long from now is that dump time for today?
About an hour.
And I think we'd prefer to do the dump today during that time.
Copy, Christina, and we'll come back to you around that time, letting you know when you're go to dump the CCU.
Perfect. Thank you.
Some more communications with the crew aboard Orion, calling down to Capcom Amy Dill. And this view on your screen, that is Earth in the center of your screen from the Orion spacecraft. Again, a camera mounted aboard the spacecraft's solar array wing, looking back at all of us. Now, I want to get back to our interview. Dave, the Deputy Manager of Guidance, Navigation, and Control for Orion, talking about ProcSOP's a really dynamic time. And we heard from NASA astronaut Victor Glover the entire time that he was piloting the spacecraft. And I know that's additional information for your team as well. So what will you interpret from the information about the spacecraft that Victor called down?
Yeah, the crew's comments, Victor's in particular, are very important to us. Obviously, when the crew is manually controlling the spacecraft, we're interested in that task being easy for them to accomplish. So Victor was given a lot of feedback while he was flying. It shows his test pilot background, because that's what test pilots do. They mention the good, the bad, and the ugly as they're flying. So that's a very important part of this. We're actually going to get a score from them of how Orion did. It's called handling qualities. It's a time-tested tradition in the aircraft world that we adopted for spaceflight back in the shuttle days. So they will give us, they will actually give us a score. It's called a handling quality score.
Fascinating. So once you get that score from them, when will you get that? And then what will you do to digest that feedback? What's next for your team?
Yeah, we'll dive into all of this. We look at the video and look at the commands that the pilots made, that Victor made, and the way the system responded, and look at the video to make sure the vehicle did what we expected it to do. And we'll look at all of that afterwards. We've gotten Victor's comments live now, but we'll get more post-flight when we interview the crew post-flight.
Well, that's great. And I know that this is not the only time during the mission that the crew is manually flying the vehicle. There's a manual piloting demo coming up in a few days. So is there anything that your team learned today that helps inform how that demo will go, or any preparations?
Yeah, there's actually lots of different kinds of manual piloting tasks. The one that we did today is one of the more complex ones. We did it first because we needed the ICPS to be there, and the ICPS we had a limited amount of time before it had to perform its disposal burn. So these other tasks don't require an ICPS. We'll be doing some tasks of pointing the vehicle. We'll ask the crew to point at a star to simulate a future operation where we need to point the vehicle at a target at long range while the target's still at long range. So there's just lots. We're going to turn jets off to simulate a degraded control system and see how the control system responds. So we have a lot of other manual control tasks coming up.
Definitely a lot of action still to come for your group.
Yeah, and all this is we're simulating stuff that we need to. We're not simulating. We're flying stuff that we need to fly on a future flight. So by being able to do it now, if we see any funnies in the data or decide we need to make any corrections, we have time to make those corrections before the Artemis 3 flight. So this is really risk buy down for Artemis 3. That's why we're doing this, is to get some of the system tests behind us before we fly the first dockings for real on Artemis 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a test flight. And with that, I would love to know how you feel after a crew has now piloted Orion for the very first time.
Oh, it's always a great feeling to see something that your team developed go fly for real. I've been around for a while. I've seen this many times, but the luster never fades. It's always fun to actually fly and see your stuff in operation.
I can only imagine. I'm so excited for your team. Congratulations. And we can't wait to see everything that is to come in the upcoming days. So thank you again so much for joining us, Dave Dennemiller, Deputy Manager for Orion's Guidance, Navigation, and Control Systems.
It was fun. We got 9 more days of fun.
Let's do it.
Hello! Welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know where that sound is. I got the Artemis mission playing up in the corner. I thought it'd be really cool to have that. Let me see if I can see it. We're going to go ahead and just resume the Nugget flights. I got my own personal one in there that I use to test other things and things that I can and can't do, but that's besides the point. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the day.
This beautiful view coming from Orion on the Artemis 2 mission and a camera on the spacecraft's solar array wing, looking back at all of us here on Earth. Spacecraft now over 27,000 miles away from our home planet.
I'm going to keep the audio on for the Artemis mission. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If you guys don't like the Artemis discussion, I can easily turn it off. It's not a big deal. Actually, we could probably might, yeah. And I can actually make it play. The only problem is audio pads on my phone won't show me. We'll just wing it. We're good. See, I can make more just interstellar probes. I could do that. There's really no need for me to do that, though. Alright, now. Let's go ahead and get up and work.
I finally know why I can't look further. I finally know why the tones speak louder. There is a secret that won't be mine. They never talk until the end of time. Make me feel at least like a mother. Make me feel at least like a fire.
Okay,
It seems I can't find a place to go. There's a world of things I never knew. 'Cause everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone should tell me where will I find? 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm always on my own. Can anyone just catch me before I drown? Can anybody make me feel like I'm not a stranger tonight? Hey, hey, why should I run away? Hey, hey, I always felt this way. Hey, I can't run away. I'm not a stranger tonight.
Beautiful. That is a lovely tip.
Everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone just tell me where will I find? 'Cause everywhere I go,
We are now 5 hours and 45 minutes mission elapsed time, and 5 hours and 45 minutes since launch of the Artemis 2 mission. In this view, looking back on Earth from one of the cameras on the spacecraft's solar array wing, things will start to get a little quieter from the crew. Of course, we heard quite a lot from them during the Prox operations demonstration when pilot Victor Glover manually flew the spacecraft around the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. With that complete, the crew conducted some troubleshooting for toilet issues they were experiencing earlier, and those have been resolved. They also continued drying and stowing their suits, configuring the cabin for the mission. They will have a private medical conference later today as well to report how they're feeling to teams on the ground. And eventually they'll be able to get into some sleep. Of course, this is not a full night's sleep, as they will have the rest of the mission because they will move into a perigee raise burn. That perigee raise burn timelined for 12 hours and 55 minutes mission elapsed time, so just about 7 hours from now.
So what you're telling me is
After that
they
perigee
couldn't
raise
poop.
burn, they'll get the opportunity to get a few more hours sleep before waking up tomorrow and starting another day.
From what I understood was someone on board couldn't poop. What do I want this one to be? I kind of want to get back up into orbit again. everybody doing? Turn the music back on.
Karma's got a thing for me. We hold hands, make plans, keep the receipts. Karma, she's my best friend. One step closer, here's how it ends. Karma's got a thing.
Let's skip that one. Not that one. That one's always the one that always starts. I got that thing all the time. Ooh. Some calming music. They gotta move in 2 minutes. I don't know if you can hear that. That's all the way at max.
Indeed we would, and you are going step 1.1.
I think we missed
Copy
something
all.
there. I kind of want to build a space station, but I can't really do that right now. Let's see if we can't do a moon mission with this.
Integrity Houston, those prop RCS cautions are understood per the maneuver that we're doing now.
Shit. Let's put some
We
wings on it.
copy.
That call from ground teams to the crew, letting them know that any warnings they see on their screens can be ignored. No action is required of them right now.
God, that would be annoying.
Those are reported by prop about the reaction control system thrusters. We've seen those a couple of times tonight, and teams on the ground are working a forward path. Right now, they'll be able to quiet those alerts on the crew's displays.
Imagine just laying there trying to, get a little bit of rest, and then all of a sudden you just hear warning lights. Oh hell, that
Seeing
camera
some
moves?
movement on your screen as Orion moves into its next attitude. Again, this video coming from the tip of a camera on the solar array wing. You also have a great view now of the European Service Module and that OMS engine. That's the Orbital Maneuvering System engine. This is a NASA-provided and refurbished engine. So far, not including today, it had been to space 19 times on 3 different space shuttles. The OMS engine provides about 6,000 pounds of thrust, and if you strapped it to a car on Earth, it would go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 2.7 seconds. Now 5 hours and 55 minutes since liftoff of the Artemis II mission.
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool.
The Artemis II crew continuing to configure the cabin aboard the spacecraft. Again, a very long day for them, having woken up about 8 hours prior to launch. Now coming up on 6 hours mission elapsed time.
We'll do another burn again at the next node. That is a beautiful view. Beautiful. And rotate. There we go. That is a lovely view. It's so peaceful, so quiet in space. Actually, I'm pretty sure in space you'll hear more of the spacecraft than you would anything else. That would get annoying. Imagine just laying there and all of a sudden hear a banging from a pipe. Oh no, Apollo 13 all over again!
Six hours now since the launch of Artemis 2, the Orion spacecraft atop the Space Launch System rocket. This is a test flight and the first flight of humans aboard the spacecraft. And this view on your screen coming from the Orion spacecraft, a camera on its solar array wing looking back at us on Earth. Now we do have 4 astronauts working aboard the spacecraft. The commander is NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman. He's a Baltimore native. He's been in space before, and he was a flight engineer for Expedition 41 aboard the International Space Station from May through November 2014, a total 165-day mission, working on science experiments in areas like human physiology, medicine, physical science, earth science, and astrophysics.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
He also served as chief of NASA's astronaut office from December 2020 to November 2022. Reed has 2 daughters. We saw those 2 girls waving at him as he departed the operations and checkout building today, boarded the Astrovan, and went to the launch pad. Artemis 2 pilot is NASA astronaut Victor Glover. He was selected as an astronaut in 2013, when at that time he was serving as a legislative fellow in the U.S. Senate. His first trip to space was in November 2020. He launched as the pilot of NASA's SpaceX Crew 1 mission, which that was the first operational mission of our commercial crew program, resumed launching American rockets from American soil to the space station since the end of the shuttle program. Victor is a U.S. Navy captain and naval aviator who served as a test pilot. He has more than 3,500 flight hours in over 40 different aircraft. He added a spacecraft to that today as he piloted Orion during the manual flight of the proximity operations demonstration. And he and his wife have 4 children.
Ooh, I didn't know that camera did that. See, that's one thing that you can always
Next
count
up
on.
is NASA astronaut
get some
Christina Cook.
facts.
She is a mission specialist aboard Artemis 2 and a native of Grand Rapids, Michigan. She was selected to the astronaut corps in 2013, being in the same class as Victor. She's previously served as a flight engineer on the space station from March 2019 to February 2020, making her the holder of the record for the longest single space flight by a woman. That's 328 consecutive days in space. She also participated in the first ever all-female spacewalk with NASA astronaut Jessica Meir, who's now living and working aboard the space station. And before becoming an astronaut, Christina helped build space science instruments and led scientific fieldwork in some of the most remote environments on the planet. She loves surfing, rock climbing, community service, yoga, travel, and photography. Rounding out our crew is Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. He is a first-time flyer and will be the first Canadian to fly around the moon. He is a London, Ontario native and was selected as an astronaut in 2009. Since then, he's worked as a Capcom here in Mission Control in Houston. Capcom stands for Capsule Communicator, and that's the single person in Mission Control communicating with the astronauts in space. He's also participated in training exercises like living on the ocean floor off the coast of Florida to help simulate deep space exploration. In 2017, he became the first Canadian to lead a NASA astronaut class. He enjoys getting out on a sailboat, rock climbing, and mountain biking, and he and his wife have 3 children.
Ooh, I am not going to be barreling nose first into the atmosphere. Nope. No, thank you. Not dealing with that view. Spin, you gotta slow down. Come on, I gotta get that parachute, that drogue open. Oh, that ground's coming up fast. Oh god, that made my stomach kind of turn. That's a lot lower than I wanted it to be. Come on. I need that data. Fuck, honestly, at that point, might as well just strap it. Ooh, blue screen.
Houston integrity for timeline.
Houston's here.
Okay, Amy, we got the 4K camera encoder installed and the camera is set up. Are we doing scene and voice for PAO or are we skipping that for today?
We do want to do a checkout of the 4K encoder, but we don't need to do scene and voice checks. And Reed, that might have not been clear. We won't be doing a formal scene and voice check for PAO purposes, but we'll do a quick one just for the encoder checkout.
Beautiful. Send it to space.
Okay, so there is no PAO event, but we are going to do a 4K encoder checkout. Copy, we're setting it up now.
Good copy.
Good enough. Can hibernate. It don't even need to do anything. Quite literally, this thing only needs to go up, do the test, come back down.
And Integrity Houston, we do have you on video for the 4K encoder checkout.
That is great news. Stand by for audio checks with the wireless mic.
Copy.
Six hours and 10 minutes since liftoff.
Amy, I just did audio with the wireless mic. Did you copy? That is great news.
And we copy good audio on the handheld mic.
That is great news. We're ready to call 4K encoder checkout complete if you are.
Well, we can kind of see them there.
We concur. 4K checkout complete, and whenever you're ready, I have some words about S-band string swap that we're interested in having you all perform. And it is great to see you all wave, 4 smiling voices, and we are really enjoying seeing you up there.
Not as much as we're enjoying being here.
That is true.
And Rise is also smiling at you guys.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.
And we're preparing to be ready for your words about, I think you said S-band. Stand by.
Standing by.
And ahead of our future public affairs events, the crew has completed a checkout of the 4K encoder video and audio. Completing that installation tonight will allow us to have them conduct some events starting tomorrow.
That's not good.
This view on your screen coming from Orion, looking back at all of us on Earth. This is coming from a camera mounted on one of the spacecraft's solar array wings. Just a little crescent Earth. Now 6 hours and 12 minutes since launch. The first flight of humans aboard Orion.
Oh, we were still in the atmosphere, so it fucking forced us down. Oh, that's nice. Good enough for me. Conduct, collect, and now we're away. See, that's one of the reasons why I like probes. I don't have to worry too much.
Houston integrity on 1. I do not have a notepad, but go with the S-band strings. If I need to get one, I'll get one.
Okay, copy. We know you're doing much cabin config, but first off, we did want to check if the EMER mass deploy is complete.
Affirmative.
Great, thank you. And then for the S-band string swap, we do want you to perform an S-band string swap back to string 1. We think the communication issues earlier in the mission were due to a ground issue, but we want to confirm good comm on string 1. I have a procedure when you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
21.1.3 for S-band string swap. Perform all steps.
I did it before. I can't remember how I did it.
And do we have a get well plan if we don't pick you up on the other string?
Checking. And Reed, if you swap to string 1 and you don't have comm with us for 2 minutes, you can swap back to string 2.
Okay, that sounds good. And can Christina go for her PAO teardown activity?
You are go for the PAO deactive activity.
Okay, we copy that, and 21.1.3 is going into work, and we have at least one use on fluids in the toilet, and it worked great.
We are so happy to hear that.
And Christina is wondering how long until the CCU dump.
Approximately, standby.
Yeah, my fingers hurt.
Approximately 15 minutes to the CCU dump, and we'll give you a call as a reminder.
Copy.
Let's see. I'm gonna need about 20. That's not it. I'm gonna need about 20. This one. That saves up some weight.
Houston integrity count check on string 1.
Loud and clear, how me?
We have you the same. We are on S-band string 1 primary. Looks good.
We concur, and we will be staying on string 1.
Astronauts aboard Orion calling down to speak with Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. What you see in the bottom right of your screen. Capcom, or Capsule Communicator, right now is Amy Dill. She has been speaking with the crew since the Orbit 1 shift took over. The capsule communicator is the only person in mission control that speaks directly with the crew. You can see her there down closer to the bottom left of your screen, and right next to her is NASA astronaut Raja Chari. Having one voice in mission control speaking with the crew allows us to keep communications clear and concise. They gather information from all of the flight controllers here in the room alongside the flight director and make decisions on what they need to share with the crew aboard Orion.
Well, fine, we'll just get rid of that. That's too big. This might get us to the moon and back.
Houston, integrity on 1 for fan speed / cabin temperature.
Houston's listening.
Amy, is it possible to lower the cabin fan speed a bit? There's a lot of airflow in here, and if that is not possible, can we increase the temperature?
Well, I think the answer is yes, right? Econ, we can do one of those two things.
Copy, Reed. We understand the request, and we are discussing how to implement. We'll follow up.
Yeah, sounds good. No urgency there, but just know that will be our desire down the road.
Sounds like
Copy.
they're currently freezing. Looks like there's another one of our probes that we just launched. And it looks like we lost it. That ship was a complete failure. Oh, I know why this one failed. I mean, it might have gotten too hot. Because right now it's barreling and it doesn't have any ground or air resistance. Okay, it was just it didn't have anybody. That's the part I hate. It always takes the longest.
Integrity Houston, maneuver in progress, 5 minutes. And Integrity Houston for the enabled SM RCS prop cautions. Those are, again, understood with the maneuver, and we are working to suppress the ones that are enabled.
Sounds good, Amy. We copy all.
Now over 6.5 hours mission elapsed time, or
I need to
time
change
since
some stuff on the
the Artemis
computer.
2
I'm
mission
starting to
began
have
with
some
liftoff
issues.
of Orion atop the Space Launch
So we're
System
gonna
rocket
call
at
this
Kennedy
stream
Space Center
here.
in Florida.
I'll post some more shorts. We'll get some stuff fixed.
Since then, the crew has seen the
and we should be back.
perigee raise maneuver and apogee raise burn before moving into the proximity operations demo. They detached from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage and then used that stage as a docking target. Of course, we did not dock today, but this was great practice for us to understand how it feels to manually fly Orion. So pilot Victor Glover was manually controlling the spacecraft in relation to the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. We also saw CubeSat deployment. Eventually, we had the USS-2 burn, the upper stage separation burn that took us away from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, and the ICPS itself had its own disposal burn. The crew is now working through some cabin configuration. Once their cabin configuration is complete, they will have their private medical conferences to report how they're feeling down to teams here on the ground. They'll get into their chance to sleep a little bit before the perigee raise burn in the middle of their sleep shift. Once that burn is complete, we will then get another sleep shift for Orion. That perigee raise burn is to raise the lowest point of Orion's orbit around the Earth right now. It is in a high Earth orbit. And that perigee raise burn will set us up for the translunar injection burn tomorrow.